Hey guys, I'm Levi Gates, and welcome back to DETALKS with me, Mr. Dylan von Kleist of RUPES
How you doing, sir?
USA. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Happy to be here.
Well, so this one we wanted to talk about. So RUPES is a tool manufacturer,
Yes.
and they make a lot of different types of tools.
Yes.
From sanders to vacuum systems to polishers, all bunch of stuff.
We are a diversified manufacturer, but within a smaller segment. Everything we do is centered on surface abrasion.
Yeah.
Largely body shop and detailing, right? Because they're both abrasion. You're sanding or you're polishing, it's all abrasion. I think it's applicable in other markets. You know, these countertops, for example, on these tables had to be sanded and polished with something.
Yep.
We could do that. But if it's got to be sanded or polished, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And the reason we offer so many different things is because there are so many different applications, right?
Yeah.
If I could polish this table, I don't need anything small. I could use a really big pad, really big tool. I can knock this whole thing out. There's no curves or contours. But if this table was rounded or had something like that, then I'd need
something a little smaller, a little more delicate, something
like
easier.
That, right?
Yeah.
So we regularly get kind of that comment, like, you know, it's like, well, you know, I have a 21 Mark II. You guys released the Melee.
This is that bad boy right
Which is this guy right here. You know, do I need it? Or what's better about it? And this kind of stuff. The answer is it's not better. And the other end of that spectrum is like, whoa, why you guys have been selling random orbital? Why gear driven now? It's like, well, because it has a time and place. Every tool has a job that it does really well.
Right.
Or a couple of jobs it does really well, but it can't do everything. So by having more tools in the lineup, we give you more options. So like no more than you could do an entire car with a Nano.
Oh yeah, and if you think you can, I'd like to see you try.
A very small car.
It's not a
really small.
Not very efficient to polish a whole car that way.
Not an efficient way to go. But you need small tools, you need large tools, and some different movements will respond depending on the paint you're working on. You know, we've talked before about paint swell and heat generation.
Yeah.
Rotary ramps up heat very quickly. So if you're working on fresh paint and you don't want to have paint swell, well, rotary paint, a bad choice, right? So you got to do random orbital. But if you're working on something that's just completely thrashed, and your options are, you know, well, I got a couple of different tools here. What's going to be the fastest to get me to a point where I can kind of manage the defect level? Rotary, mow that thing down, right? There's a time and a place for every single thing. If anybody thinks that they can do every single car with the same tool 100% of the time, they're dead wrong. It's just it's not possible. You have to have a selection of things. It's not to say that everybody needs every single, well, I'm not trying to say, hey, buy one of every single Rupes polisher. It'd be great if you did, but it's not required. It's just based on the work that you do, there's probably a collection of tools that would make sense, that will make the job faster, more efficient, or easier, or in the case of the Nano or a Mini, even able to address. If I tried to do around door handles, like underneath those ones that you reach through with this, there's absolutely zero way I'm gonna be able to polish that spot with this thing. So my options are rub it out by hand, right? Or don't touch it.
Yeah.
And if a customer's paying you to detail their car and you just go, yeah, no, I would have polished that, but I don't have anything for that because I don't think I need another tool. So I just didn't do that spot, right?
To be fair, I have said that.
Well, there you go.
I did it by hand because I don't have a tool to get in that area.
Yeah.
And I didn't like having to say that to a customer. Because as a detailer, they're paying you for a specific job, and when you can't deliver on that job because you're limited by your quiver of arrows, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a good feeling. And so that's when it was like, all right, I got to make sure that I have everything for every situation.
Yep.
Because, truth be told, I was uneducated at the time, and we used a rotary, and that was it.
And you're like, well, if it doesn't fit there, I can't polish it, right?
Don't know what to tell you. I don't think they make anything like that. I'm going to use a drill with a headlight.
Yeah, exactly, with a foam cone on it, and I'm going to stuff it in there, yeah.
And that was it. But then, as the Rupes came out, and each tool came out, and each size, and each difference, and it was like, oh. And when I started to see a value of each unit, and so I was able to start using them and going, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Now I can get this done. Now I can get this done. Now I can do this. And it actually allowed us to be more proficient in our polishing, be more proficient in the level of quality we were putting out. And honestly, my guys enjoyed being able to go like, okay, you do all these panels with the 21, I'll follow behind you with the Mini in the smaller areas, and then if you could come back around and hit, A pillars and things like that with the Nano, that'd be great. Yep. And my guys were very excited when they were like, yes, I get this one. All
right. Spots I can do now. Yeah.
Yeah. They were kind of, fighting over who got to do what.
Yeah. It's no different in any other industry. If you think of like, if you're a guy who builds, fences. I mean, you're gonna need a hammer to drive nails. You're gonna need a drill to drive in screws, and you just have to have these different things. And it's not that you're gonna reach for the Nano every time. You may not pick up the Melee every time. You're not gonna pick up the rotary every time, but when you need it, you're glad you have it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get to that situation like, man, if I only had a rotary.
Let me call one of my other detailing friends, if you even have them.
Yeah,
Hopefully
exactly.
you got other detailing
Dude, do you have a rotary I can borrow?
Yeah.
Nope, don't have one. Oh man, I need one right now.
Yeah.
So it's just about having them, and it's more than just tools. It's towels. I mean, you want to have glass towels, drying towels, and throwaway towels for doing wheels, and exhaust tips, and stuff for doing the interior versus the exterior. It's pads. You want to have a variety of pads to choose from. I mean, on this paint, it's really, really hard. I need a microfiber pad. On this paint, it's really, really soft. I should have a foam pad. You can't just say, no, I only use this pad all the time. You've got to have those. Compounds, you got to have some options on compounds. You can't just have a coarse and a fine. You got to have some stuff in between. You've got to have some specialty options for that oddball situation. You're like me. You work on a lot of stuff at home. You're into cars. You accumulate tools based on need, right? A project comes along, and you go, you know what? I'm going to need, some random
skill saw.
I need a skill saw. I don't have a skill saw. I'm to do this job. You don't go with the intention of like, well, dang, I can rent it and then I'm gonna return it. I generally just go buy one because I'm like, well, if I
budget it into my cost of what.
If I need it now, there's going to be another project in the future. I just recently bought a compound miter saw. I'm like, I didn't really need one until that project, and I'm like, now that I have it, now I'm coming up with other things I can do with it.
Yeah.
So if you apply that same logic to like a detailing business, and you go, okay, I invest in the Nano because I've got this car coming in, and I don't normally do these kind of cars, but it's coming in, and you realize, wow, okay, I can do those cars now.
Yeah.
Now you have the opportunity to do them. The same way I now have the opportunity to do projects where I can use my compound miter saw. I'm super excited. You can now kind of open up a category of business that maybe you didn't have before, or get better at the category you're already in.
Like I said, I did a lot of classics, and this little guy did a lot of dashboards because it's a painted steel dashboard. And so you can polish that now, and you have something that you can get in.
This was not going to do that.
That was not going to work all that well. And same with piano black interior stuff. You see a lot of guys, that's what they like using these for, because they fit in those little areas, and it's battery powered. So you're not feeling like you're dragging a cord in with it. You're doing, but again, that it was just being able to have it allowed it to be like, we can polish that. We had a guy brought a little 510 in and wanted us to detail his engine bay, which was absolutely gorgeous, but this little guy came in handy.
That's the only thing that was going to fit in there, right?
Well, and because one of the best painters in the world painted it, but the motor was still, he hadn't finished a lot of the different spots in the engine bay because they put the motor right in after they painted it. We were able to go in and finish out a couple spots in the engine bay that never got done because when it got painted, this tool didn't exist. and now that painter uses these tools, but it was just a fun little opportunity where we were like, hey,
I can do that.
We can fix that because we've got one of these that'll fit right in there. And so
I think I've told you before, I had my buddy in Arizona he was heavily on fleet work at dealerships, and he was doing a lot of headlight restoration. He would go and do fleet washes, but then he would do headlight repair for their used lot. And he's there one day, and he had bought that to start doing headlight repair, and the service manager, somebody approached him and said, hey, do you think you could use that same polish stuff that you do the headlights on an instrument cluster? And they had taken a car back. It was like a lease return. It's a nice car. I think it was a Lexus or something. But it had a big old huge scratch through the radio display. And he goes, yeah, I'll give it a shot. So he goes in there, a little bit of compound, and he zips it out with a Nano in like 2 seconds flat. The dealership's floored because their cost on that replacement was hundreds, right? Yeah. If they had to pull it, because it's newer cars, your HVAC, your radio, your navigation, everything's like one big piece, right? So even the dealership part level was going to cost them hundreds and hundreds of dollars to swap that out. Nobody wants to buy a used car with a big, huge scratch through it, right? So he goes and does it. It literally opened up an entire new business for him. So he went from doing his fleet wash and headlight repair. He actually now has a van on the road. He's in Arizona. And all he does is run around to car dealerships and do spot interior repairs of the faux wood or real wood, it's all clear coated, the painted panels, the piano black trim and stuff like that. instrument clusters, the clear lens over the top
Yeah.
of them, radio displays, that kind of stuff. And he is making a mint.
Yeah.
Because every dealership, if he goes in and goes, and it's a per scratch kind of thing.
Shows this is what I do.
Yeah, and I'll go do this, and this in this car, and the dealership can get more money when they flip that car at the used lot. And it's, I mean, every lease return they get has something on the inside that needs to be addressed. He's killing it. And it's literally a van now on the road. So to that point of you get a tool because you need it, but then you realize all the things you can do. Well, yeah, if you buy a Nano to do headlight repair, which is something he was already doing, he just wanted that, so he didn't have to move a car or drag a cord over there to plug a tool in to polish that headlight. He goes, yeah, the battery operated for the light, I could do that. Well, now he's literally started a whole new division of his business and another employee on the road in a van who is dedicated to doing nothing but interior work.
Yeah.
And you go, if that's not a case to go out and diversify your tool selection that you have, I don't know what is.
Exactly. Right? But it's funny that there are folks that still get confused and hung up with that, but it's that same simple comment of you bought yourself a miter saw because you needed it.
Yep.
And now you're finding ways to use it. I did that. I was building a fence and I was like, oh, I could use my handsaw that I have, or I could just buy myself a skill saw and rip these boards real quick. And I did, and it made the job 10 times easier. But now I have a skill saw just in when I need it, which helped. When I was getting ready to sell the house, I had to slice a couple projects, and I was like, oh, I got my skill saw, no problem. Yeah, I don't use it, I'm not using it day in, day out, but I have it, and I have it there available to me. And the same with my machines was that I had all these, different sizes machines, Rupes polishers for different jobs. And it worked great. Yes, I had, we had 3 21s because I needed 3 guys polishing at once.
That's what you're using the most, right? That's the common, that's your everyday tool.
All that, and then we had 2 minis, because you always wanted to be able to, I never wanted one of my employees to wait. Yeah. I need to use that mini over there.
Yeah, I would have finished, but I can't because that guy's using it. Yeah.
So we had 2 minis, and then we had, 2 15s, and then we had a Nano. And it worked out really well because everything was basically enough to get covered, and multiple employees could be working on projects at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, and I'll even make a case for other examples I've heard of this too. Is so there's a product, and I'll endorse this now. It's one of the few products that does this: concrete splatter removal from vehicles. Which that question gets, a guy just came into my shop and he's got concrete splatter in his truck. What do I use to get it off? Backset is the product, first of all. It's incredible. It's about the only thing you can use that will take concrete off of paint safely. But having just that, I mean, let's take it away from tools for a second. Sure, not every detail is going to need concrete removal. That's going to be a pretty specialized thing. But if it shows up and the guy doesn't know what's on it and you go, holy crap, that's concrete. Do you want to have to reschedule that job? Say, sorry, sir, I would love to fix this. I know how to fix this.
But I don't have anything right now.
I don't have anything right now, so I got to order it. It's going to be here in a couple of days, and we'll schedule you in. Or if you got it there already, you can keep that guy on track. So again, it's just it's having it available. And I get it. It's saying spending money for, just for the sake of spending money. It's not. It's you're spending money so that you have it, so when you need it, you can use it and deploy it, and it can apply to almost every aspect of your business.
We say that with pads. We say that with products, with compounds and polishes. There are guys that if you can get good at one product, that's awesome, and that's the way to be proficient. But you always need to have, you have a compound, but then you also need to have at least another type of compound.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yep.
Because you never know, the paint may react funny. Yep. And it's the same with these polishers. And so it's good to just be well-versed and well-rounded in what you're doing with your business.
Yep, I absolutely agree.
We joke all the time because we have 150 different types of microfiber towels. And
is that all?
Yeah, and it's literally, people but each one has a unique situation. And yes, one can be used for everything. It doesn't do the job well. Yep. It does the job, but it doesn't do it well. And if we give you a different towel that does it even better, and another towel that can do this other job even better, then that's all we're asking. So
exactly.
Anyway, so new tools from Rupes is the Melee and the Rotary.
Yep, the Rotary is a little bit delayed to market, but the Melee is now currently shipping as of this video.
And the Melee, one of the cool things about it, one of the neat things that when the 21 came out that made such a huge impact in the industry was that those of us that ran shops and had to train employees, the Rotary was a very hard tool to teach and try and train guys because they needed to get a lot of
high risk,
time
right?
under their belt on using it. With the 21, you're able to teach a person within about a day on how to do use the machine, and they'd get pretty proficient in it fairly quickly.
The basics of it, yeah.
The Melee is even easier.
Yep, because you got basically the movement's happening. The trick always with the 15 and the 21 is maintaining rotation, right? And that's if a guy is going to complain or say the reason he doesn't use a Rupes polisher is, well, I can't, it stalls on curves, With the right technique, you can maintain rotation on that tool anywhere. It just takes time to learn.
That.
And whether or not you're willing to invest the time to learn that, that's no judgment. If you don't want to have to adjust your technique and you just want to grab and go, a gear-driven tool is the way to go, because the movement is going to do it whether you are, doesn't matter which way you're holding the polisher.
Yeah.
So to your point about new employees, we do call this kind of the new employee like best choice.
Yeah.
Is you can hand this to a guy and it's got the consistency of movement like a rotary. So it's going to impart change on the paint no matter what. If you pull the trigger and put the pad to the panel, something is going to happen, right? But it's got the safety of the orbit part built into it, right? So it's got both of those movements at the same time.
You don't have to worry about
So
damaging.
so results will happen, and the guy is much less likely to hurt it than if he was using a rotary. He's not going to burn an edge, and he's not going to create a hologram issue or that kind of stuff. So this is the perfect tool for somebody who is new to detailing, or is just, or got employees that you don't want to spend a ton of time getting their technique right.
Yeah.
Because rotary is very training dependent. Random orbital is technique dependent. It can be trained a lot quicker. So this gives us a nice medium ground. It's kind of the jack of all trades, master of none. If we do our presentation on the multiple movements, and you've seen that before, where we kind of rank everything in the gold, silver, bronze status. This gets a lot of silver rankings, and everybody goes, well, it's kind of in the middle. So, because that's what it is. It's good at cutting, but it's not as good as rotary. Yeah. It's good at finishing, but not as good as random orbital. And it does all these things so it's the jack of all trades, master of none. So it's really a great tool choice for somebody who's not sure what they want or what they need. It's a good first tool for somebody too. If you're jumping from something like a Porter cable, you're like, man, I'm not getting enough cut, but I don't know if I can master the whole large orbit thing and keeping rotation. This tool is so easy to pick up, grab, and go.
And that's what guys also need to understand. If you're running the business and you're looking to grow that business and you're looking to create employees, you have to train those employees. And that takes a long time, and that costs a lot of money.
It's a significant investment.
And if you can save time, save money, and get an employee that's able to consistently start producing money for you, basically.
Yep.
That's the key. And
they have to pay for themselves, basically, right?
And that was always an issue. And so it's nice to see that that's another reason why having multiple versions of tools. Plus, you give your employee a ladder that they can then climb, which gives them something else to work on, achieve towards. It gives them a goal that they can set. You can start them with one of these, and then once they get the hang of the movement and actually polishing paint, you can step them up into a 21 and go, all right, this has this type of stuff.
Yeah.
You get it in, and then you can bring them into the rotary, or you can bring them into, using the minis and working on stuff, and then they can start learning. But this way you can give them a skill set.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're all just craftsmen, and these are all just tools that we need to learn for our trade.
Yep.
So anyway, awesome, man.
Hey.
Always a pleasure to have you.
Love being here.
Yeah. Also, go check out rupesusa.com to check out all these tools. You can check out the whole line. Make sure you follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Rupes USA. You can check out Dylan as well. And make sure you like, comment, and share this video. And for more videos, just stay tuned right here on the Rag Company YouTube channel. Thanks.